we're going to bring in our second guest of the show, Tanner Terch.
There you go. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Yeah, he told me before the show. Because I was like, I've been pronouncing this wrong this whole time too.
Yeah.
So for everybody in the comments, it's Tanner Terch, not Terch.
It trips people up for sure. I've had people call me Tech, Terch, everything. So
Turk was how I was saying it for the last year or so, ever since you committed.
I think we all were, but now we know. Appreciate you hopping in here, Caleb, Pit Snipe. Appreciate everybody who's joined in. Drop your questions here as we go, and we will get them answered. But Tanner, thank you so much for coming on to the show, man. Really appreciate you, being gracious with your time as well to come on and have a little chat with us. So, is there anything you want to say before we get rocking and rolling?
No, I just want to say thank you guys for having me on and taking the time to do this.
Of course, man. Brian, go ahead.
So my first question is, I think for me, I've always been curious what it's like to be recruited when you have all these coaches flooding your DMs on X and text messages and FaceTimes and all that. I just can't imagine how overwhelming it is. How did you handle all the coaches messaging you and the stress from all that?
So I would say that, when people think of recruitment and they kind of think of that like nonstop, like coaches in your DMs, like people calling you nonstop, people showing up to your school like crazy. But I mean, that's really like the 1% of the 1% that get that treatment. Like, especially like early on in my recruiting process, I remember sending out countless emails with my mom every night and sending out hundreds of Twitter messages to all these coaches and being really excited when coaches would follow me back. So I really think that for the upper 1% of the 1%, it's recruiting is really like actually like that. Like someone's always in touch. Someone's always this. But for me, it was more like of a battle, and it was really stressful. Just kind of like all of recruiting, just being like, where am I going to fit? Where am I wanted? That's really was the main thing that I was really looking for throughout the process was where do people want me? Who wants me to come there? A lot of coaches would like you to come there, and they like you as a player, and they would like you to come to their school. But where I was just looking for where I was wanted. But yeah, it was a very overwhelming process for me, and especially my family. I think my parents took it the hardest because, I mean, there's some days that are really good, and I'd meet 3-4 coaches at school and get a few calls, and there'd be other days where there'd be nothing. And it's just kind of hard because I think comparison is the thief of joy. And like, it's just very hard to not compare yourself. Like, why is this guy getting this attention? Why is that guy getting that attention? So I just think that it was hard for sure. Definitely hard.
So
it's a great quote.
To follow up on that too, like, because you went to West Point, right? You went and visited there. So
yeah.
what was the difference in the coaches that you could tell like genuinely wanted you versus the ones that would have liked to have you?
So West Point was my first offer. It was a good first offer because I feel like the first offer that you get is kind of like the one to get you going. Like it's it's harder to get coaches to offer you a spot when they're the ones that are going out on a limb for you first, because at that point, then they're in a little bit of position that if they made a choice that not other people agreed with, then that falls on them.
For sure.
So it was a good one for me to get going and get just one under my belt. And I went out there because I really enjoyed Coach Monken, and he would call me twice a day. And I just was like, we'll go see what this is about. I had a 4.0 GPA, so I was like, you know what, this could really set me up for something later in life that you can't really turn down at that point. I mean, that was the only offer I had. And then Kansas State was another one who really wanted me to go there, and they were kind of thinking the same thing of me playing safety. So it's kind of like them, Nebraska, and then Stanford was another one that I was going to have to I wouldn't have been able to graduate early, and I would have had to stay and take 2 more APs to get that one. But that Stanford was like my dream school.
Gotcha.
So but I just didn't really like their coaching staff. But West Point, it was a cool experience for sure to go down there and kind of see how they run things, and we get to watch a team lift, which was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and watch them all do push-ups together in the weight room. And it was like it brought my dad to tears. Like it was crazy to watch.
That's cool.
But It was cool, and the coaches were really nice. They have really, really nice facilities, which I was really surprised by. Like their weight room is humongous, like really, really big weight room.
Really?
They got nice stuff, nice nutrition, and they have people there that really, really care not only about you as a football player, but you as people. And that was kind of the thing that I really liked there. And at the time, I was really considering maybe going there, but then my recruitment kind of took off a little bit after that, and then there were some different choices in play.
Yeah, I see the SEAL trident on the wall. I'm a Navy guy. So I do have to say, go Navy. I'm glad you didn't go to West Point. Good call there. But what's the SEAL trident? Explain the
I don't
flag.
know. I saw this flag on Instagram, or not Instagram, Amazon. I got 2 flags. I got Mike Tyson,
Tyson.
the Unstoppable.
Nice.
Yes,
and then
sir.
there's this one that says the only easy day was yesterday.
That's right.
And I don't know. I was kind of just scrolling through. I have another flag from China with Coach Rule on it, but it's like it's him photoshopped on a meme. That's me and Bryson Weber's living room, and it's like it says "Welcome to the crib" on it. But like
Love
the Chinese
Has Coach
website
Rule
we
seen
ordered
the
off of,
flag?
yeah, it like put like an American flag behind him, so it's like
that.
him like shrugging with his hands in his pockets, like smirking.
Oh.
It's like him on Kevin James, and there's like an
Oh, I see
American
that
flag
meme.
behind it.
I've
So
seen that
I was
meme.
like, I'll probably get some more serious flags for my room that I can like look at in the morning and be a little bit motivated by, and not have Coach Rule watching me sleep on a meme with Kevin James. So
that might turn into some nightmares.
yeah,
You probably don't
especially
want
with Matt drills, he could definitely be in my nightmares. But
after
I kind of just grabbed that.
Yeah, after a couple of seasons, I'm sure the last thing you're going to want to do is see Coach Matt Rule while you're waking up too, because I'm sure you'll see him every other second of the day. So, Brian, go ahead.
I had a follow-up question talking about your recruitment and specifically Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
Do them being in this, I don't know what you'd call the Pac-12 at this point, does that affect your decision when you're looking at like a Stanford where they're kind of in no man's land, where they don't really know where their conference is going in the future, where, you know, at least K-State or Nebraska are in established conferences, or Army, I believe, is independent. So at least you know what you're getting conference play-wise?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that was a huge part of why I didn't really want to wait around for the Stanford thing, because with the academic process for them, like you like really, really have to clear like academics. Like you really have to go through like the entire admissions process that takes months. So like I would have had to enter my admissions like a normal student, and it would have to go through, and I would actually have to see if I got accepted for that. And that was kind of like the thing, was there wasn't really a lot of stability with that. Like I would have loved to be in Palo Alto, but I didn't feel the stability with their coaching staff, kind of what you're talking about. And it wasn't as much with the conference, but I just didn't really like the dynamic that they had going with their coaches. And like, it just didn't seem very stable. Like I think Nebraska and K-State with Kleiman, it's just like, it's very foundational and they're still like doing things the right way, very developmental. And like, I could see how like I would get there, how I would get developed, and how I would go through and then get there. And Stanford was kind of just like a toss up. Like you'll come and we'll see what happens. We'll see if you even get in, and then we'll see what happens. So, but it was that kind of what you're talking about, that stability and kind of that just knowing like what's going on. That was a big thing with Stanford as well.
And you committed pretty early in the process too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like June,
I wanted
July.
to be here. Yeah, I wanted to be here, and I committed like a week and a half after, because I just kind of talked it over with my family, talked it over with my high school coaches, and they were like, it's probably as good as you're going to get, maybe. And I don't know if that's even true with the senior season that I had, if I would have got a few more looks, but I was very happy with where I was. I was very happy with Coach Rule and the entire staff, and I was very happy being in Lincoln.
Yeah, well, me and Brian were talking about how it's surprising how, like, you know, you didn't get more offers, which I'm sure you would have, just with your overall skill set. You know, you were multi-sport athlete and stuff like that too. with Colorado, the Buffaloes, right? We got to ask about this. Did they ever end up offering or no?
No, I was barely ever even in contact. I was barely even in contact with them. I saw like, I think their tight end coach came to our school about 3 times. The first time he came, just shook his hand, told him my name, and then because they were there for I don't know if you guys know, there's a tight end that goes to my school, who's a
We weren't sure
junior.
if we could talk about it or not because you're a player.
Yeah.
He's a junior. And he was like, and he has like a bunch of offers, like 40 offers, and so they came there for him, and they were talking to him, and I kind of just shook his hand, introduced myself. Then the next time they came back was when I was committed.
Yeah.
And that's when I got pulled into the office and talked to the guy, and it was kind of like, we don't want you going to that red school. And I was kind of like, you guys are just talking. Like,
Yeah.
anything.
You wouldn't want to
And
go
the
to
third time was the corner coach who came back, and I talked to him again. Was that, and then it was kind of the same spiel, and just kind of like, we don't want you to go to that red school, going to keep the people in Colorado, which, I mean, I just don't really fit what they're doing. I mean, they can pull skill guys who are 22, 23 out of the transfer portal, and that works better for them. And like, all power to them. That's their scheme. That's their fit. So, I mean, I wouldn't want to be somewhere where I didn't fit in. And so, yeah, I mean, I wasn't a CU fan growing up or anything, so it wasn't that big of an issue for me.
So I guess the biggest thing too, just talking about your scheme and your fit, and just overall, your decision to come to Nebraska, what were the biggest things? I know you talked about, of course, feeling wanted. So naturally, I feel like Matt Rule does a good job of, kind of having that family vibe and that culture that does, welcome that. But what are some of the other things too that stood out to you about Nebraska?
When I got here, the facilities were definitely something that, like, immediately, I think, like, it's not something that for why I came here, but something that was just immediately eye-catching was kind of like, whoa. Like, I mean, I'd been other places and nothing even like came close. Like, I remember being at K-State the week before. I came here for my first time, my spring visit, and I was like, wow, like this is a different ballpark. So it was very interesting, but also like the coaches, like kind of like that family vibe you were talking about with Coach Rule. It goes through like all the coaches, like everyone in the building too. Like Miss Kristen, the nutrition lady, like she's practically my mom at this point. I mean, I've known her for a few weeks, so it's like they just really take you under your wing and kind of show you the ropes and everything. And also, like, there'd been so many DB coaches since I committed. I mean, when I committed, it was Coop still. Who was the DB coach. So we've had Butler and now Coach Williams. And so it's just been kind of a roller coaster. But every single time that I would hop on the phone with one of them or meet one of them in person, I just felt like Coach Rule was picking the right people. And he continues to pick the right people with that type of stuff. And I feel like when you do that, it just keeps going. It's kind of like a flow. And that's kind of like that stability thing. Like, I don't have to worry about some new coach coming in and ruining the whole vibe. Like, everyone's on the same page throughout the entire building.
I'm curious. So you came on spring was that an unofficial? And then that visit in July or June was your official?
Yeah.
What are the differences between what a recruit can access or do on an unofficial versus an official? Because I know the one thing I do know is an unofficial, you pay your own way, and official, the university pays everything. But is there anything different from the visit standpoint?
I mean, I feel like the official is a lot more like they roll out the red carpet for you for sure on the official, a lot more than they do on the unofficial. But I will say, like, on the unofficial, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, you're getting the same tour, but I feel like the unofficial is a lot more personalized. Like, I remember Kyle Fisher took us around and showed us everything, like the campus, everything. Like, I literally got to see every single thing possible and practice. So I think that's a big difference too from spring to official, is you get to see practice in the spring, and I got to kind of see how these guys coach, and that was kind of interesting for me and like really helped my decision, because like I feel like a lot of people don't understand that the guy that's recruiting you is different than the guy that's going to be coaching you. And from a personality standpoint, like, you're not going to be a recruit forever. So once you sign that paper and you're a player, like, it switches up on you, and that's kind of just how it has to be. But overall, I think their staff does a really good job of being very upfront and honest, and I think that's what Coach Rule does great. And that was another reason why I decided to come here, because there's really not that much of a switch between like their personalities, but like obviously, you go from 0 to 100 when you're coaching ball. So just kind of that aspect of it.
Hey, Brian, any more football questions? If not, I'm going to get into some other questions to learn a little bit.
Yeah, I'm good with football.
All right, cool. So let me go ahead and ask just a couple of questions. So, all right, let's say, perfect world, football didn't work out for you. What would you have chose to do with your life? If you had to pick any one thing, or as a kid growing up, if it wasn't football, what did you want to do?
I would probably be a lawyer somewhere. I would probably be doing
Interesting
pre-law somewhere. Yeah, I probably would be going to a probably smaller but like good academic school and probably trying to be a lawyer, or I would have probably gone to a big school, like a big party school for free, and had a lot of fun. Those are probably my two
Arizona State. Yep.
My two answers there.
Yeah.
Maybe down south somewhere.
Oh yeah, I'm out in Arizona. Arizona's a big party school,
Yep.
so I know that much. But I'm from Texas area, so
I've been to one party at K-State. It was pretty wild.
Yeah,
that was when I was a 18-year-old kid, though. So
I was in the military. I was overseas when I was 18, so I wasn't having that fun. But so all right, what's another the other question I was going to ask too. So like, do you have any kind of what are your biggest hobbies, or do you have any obscure hobbies? What do you like to do off the field, outside of school and all that?
Mm-hmm. So most of the time, I'll hang out with friends, but like from more of a hobby standpoint, I do like Legos. I built a Lego last weekend. I think it's over there. It's like a little bonsai tree. So I'll build Legos sometimes. Like I feel like it's a calming, like get your mind right. Like kind of just sit down, some music, and build like a Lego. I'll do that. But I love the UFC. Like the UFC is like my favorite thing. Like if I wasn't playing football, another thing, I'd probably be training MMA somewhere. Like that stuff really, really excites me. And I've gotten into it like past year or so.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Really.
Let me know, man. I've been boxing for 10 years. I got my first pro fight coming up later this year. So if you want to work some boxing ever, let me know.
Look, I like the grappling. I like the jiu-jitsu. I like that.
Dude,
but
I try to punch people before it gets there.
Yeah.
I go. Who's your favorite fighter, by the way?
My favorite fighter is Justin Gaethje. I caddied for him.
Nice.
No way.
3 summers ago.
Nice.
And he followed me on Instagram on the 18th hole, and he gave me a very handsome tip. He still follows me on Instagram. So that's was cool. I think I had been like going into my freshman year, and that was like the coolest thing ever for me. Yep. Like being able to be with someone. But he's funny. He's really, really funny. Yeah. Like one of the holes, like he tossed his ball up to me for me to clean it, and he walked over to me and like pump faked me like he was gonna punch me, and I kind of ran a little. I was like, oh my god! But he's a little guy. He's like 5'9".
Yeah, he's little. Yeah.
If you look at him, you're like, I'd kick this guy's ass, and he would just kill you. He was like unbuttoned shirt, untucked, like he had different color socks on, and he was kind of just like hat. He was just running around. But on the 18th hole, he was like, "Give me your phone," and I was like, Mr. Gaethje, what are you talking about? Why would I give you my phone? He's like, just give me your phone.
Thought he was bullying you for a second.
Yeah, he followed himself on my phone, and then I looked after there like 10 minutes. I was like, that's kind of weird. He just followed me and then followed me back. And I was like, it's kind of weird. And then 15 minutes later, I looked at my phone, and it was like, Justin Gaethje followed you, and I was like, that's
what's cool. Up, dude. That is cool. Mm-hmm. He's from out here too. I'm a big Ilia Topuria guy, but yeah. Brian, what were you gonna ask?
Oh, someone in the chat is from Littleton, actually. And if they said Tanner, go ahead and throw it up there.
Jimmy Rangel, 2-time Golden Glove champ. Do you know him?
Jimmy Rangel. I don't.
He may not, because Golden Gloves is hard to follow if you don't follow boxing, because it's an amateur tournament. But
it's an amateur. It's a amateur. Yeah,
Golden Gloves is the amateur boxing tournament. It's for like the best people in the state. Mm-hmm. So. I'm not sure when he would have even won it, but that's an amateur boxing thing. Yeah.
Steve Sipple of On 3, Husker Online. You probably chatted with him there. He's a Gold Gloves winner from back in the day.
Can't see some boxing.
Yeah, I don't know if I like boxing as much. I feel like boxing.
Hey, watch out! Calm down, Tanner.
I feel like boxing, and like I feel like I didn't get to watch the good era of boxing.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Like I didn't get to see Mike Tyson. I didn't get to see like I feel like that's when boxing was like boxing. Now it's kind of like it's gotten away from. But like I got to watch like the Fury Wilder stuff, and that was that kind of was like
it has its moments. But UFC's definitely got like it's the big thing Now,
Yeah, it might be my attention span, to be honest.
That's true.
I like nonstop action, just waiting like 10 rounds.
Yeah.
So boring.
Trying to keep up with both of them too is a whole different animal,
Yeah.
especially with as busy as you are.
And the celebrity boxing, like it's just kind of maybe not like it. Just
Yeah.
like the celebrity standpoint of it.
There's a lot of different directions it's going. There's a lot of things I don't like with either. I just like personally like participating in the sport, but there's a lot of things that I don't like about watching that steer people away from watching it too. So,
I imagine the team will have a watch party for Crawford's fight in, was that September?
Crawford?
Yeah, but
Crawford and that fight.
Yeah. No, you're talking
Canelo.
about. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, he walked the team out, right? For a game?
Yeah. I was at that game and I completely lost my shit when I saw him on the big screen. That was such an awesome entrance.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was going to ask one question too, just kind of bringing it back more to you, but the football side of things. You know, if you had to pick any game, or like when you vision, like, I don't know, the craziest game, craziest moment, like who is that team that you want to go up against and like suit up against? Like, is there any teams that you've thought about? Like, I can't wait to like line up against these guys.
Mm-hmm. So actually, one of the ones that I was really looking forward to was that home away with Tennessee.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that one.
I mean, that was like, when I saw that on the schedule, when I was looking through it with my dad, I was like, I think we played them at home next year and then away the next year. I'll be a redshirt sophomore or a junior. We'll be going down to Tennessee, like Rocky Top. Like,
that's rough.
This year for sure, Penn State away, because if we get rolling, we win some games, like that could easily be a night game. Like that's late in the season.
Penn State white out.
Yeah. So, and I think that's like, I mean, something that I probably dreamed about like since I was a kid. Like I can always think of that clip where the Michigan is playing there and it's so loud and they can't snap the ball.
Yep.
They have to call timeout. Like I remember watching that clip with my friends like years ago and being like, this is, you know how crazy that would be.
Crazy.
Like be there and like be on the field and like now actually like having the opportunity to actually like be there and be on the field for that would
be fun.
Crazy. Yeah. But that and Michigan's another place.
That Tennessee game has been on the schedule for 20 years, and it's been pushed back once before because Tennessee wanted to play at that NASCAR track. I've been looking forward to that game since 2006.
Yep.
So
brutal.
I feel your pain from a fan standpoint. I can't imagine as a player how much that stinks.
Would you rather be the guy electrifying the crowd or shutting the crowd up?
Electrifying. I've never.
Let's go.
Yeah. Shutting the crowd down is not. I don't know. It's just like even like I feel like in football you don't really notice that much. Like, I mean, you can definitely like hear them, but like when you're locked in, like especially like last year, like senior year, like when I would catch a deep ball, like I mean, you kind of just zone it out. It's kind of just like you're just thinking about scoring.
Yeah.
But like you can definitely like hear it, but I feel like shutting the crowd down. Like I feel like it's more fun in basketball for sure.
Yeah,
like basketball when they're up in your face and you're like you can do something to like make them be quiet. That's like,
true.
But like I feel like basketball also like you can hear the cheers a lot more. And like, when you do something good, like you can hear the crowd get hyped. But like I think energy and like crowd energy like wins you games. And like if you can get the crowd behind you, like it gets everyone fired up. So I would definitely electrify.
Yeah, when Nebraska starts winning, it's gonna be crazy. Definitely crazy atmospheres. Brian, do you have any questions you want to ask him before we
I have one random question and then one question about the facilities.
Okay.
The facility question is, what is the coolest or like the most unique thing, like the sleeping pods, or the only way I can describe it is like a human car wash where it's got that tunnel thing and it's got like shower heads all over. What's like the most crazy thing that you guys have?
I would say the cold tub personally, because I'm in there every day. Like I love the cold tub, but like it's so crazy how big they made the cold tub humongous for no reason. Like it's 3 times the size of the hot tub, and no one uses the cold tub. There's like 4 people in the cold tub every day, and everyone sits in the hot tub. So like when I was on my visit for the spring, there was like 50 dudes in the hot tub, shoulder to shoulder like this, and there's no one in the cold tub, and it's like. It's kind of weird. Like why do we make the hot tub so small? But I like the red light. The red light's definitely, I think, the craziest thing, personally. I use a lot. I mean, I saw Joe Rogan talk about it, and I was like...
I use it occasionally, too,
I like it. I think it makes your joints feel better. I think it clears up your skin. But
helps a lot,
I'll do the sauna every day for like 15 minutes. Sometimes I'll do like 10 minutes and then 5 minutes in the cold tub, then 10 minutes in the sauna, 5 minutes in the cold tub. But the sauna is nice too because you can stretch in there and really like loosen up before you get in the cold tub. So, but like everything we have is like out of this world.
Top notch. Yeah, I'm trying to see if that red light therapy will help me grow back any of this hair, but
that's why
you ain't got to worry about that yet, Tanner.
my last question is: have you been fully indoctrinated and had Runza yet?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be honest here. Incredibly overrated. I lived in Nebraska for 15 years. Incredibly overrated, but it's a delicacy in Nebraska. So anytime I go home, I have to have one.
I don't like cabbage, so
it's gross.
I don't know. Everyone's been talking to me about it. Like Christian Jones is always talking to me about, runs to this, runs to that. Like we got.
They have the best ranch you'll ever have, probably.
Okay, that I have heard they got good fries. They got they got good fries there. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, good fries, good ranch.
Yeah, but like the whole concept of it just seems a little weird for me, and especially from like a fast food restaurant. Like I don't know. I don't want to tear it down though, because I know people like it. But
next time we come on the show, we're gonna have to ask you. But you can tear it down here, just because, like I said, I don't even like cabbage. So when I go home, when I go to Nebraska, not home. When I go to Nebraska, I venture into Valentino's. That's my
that's what I heard. Someone So I won some award in Colorado, and this guy called me, and he was from here, and he was like, "You got to go to Valentino's. You got to go to Valentino's." So
it's a good spot. It's a good
spot. I might gotta check out there, but I don't know. After the pizza we had in New York, I don't know if the pizza's ever.
It's different. Valentino's is just different to me, like because I've had it in Chicago. I'm from Texas originally, but there's just something different about it that I like. I don't know. Could be a nostalgic thing for me. But I don't know. But I don't know.
It's a little doughy for my liking.
Yeah, but
I've got to check it out. I've got a lot of time on the weekends. So.
Yeah, for sure. And then
Portnoy did a pizza review there, didn't he?
At Valentino's?
I think so.
There's no telling what Portnoy said about it. Ain't no telling with that guy. So, all right, Tanner. Well, I appreciate you hopping on here with us, man, for a little bit. It was a good time, and hopefully we can get you back on here again. See how maybe you like Valentino's and how you like the runs if you do ever try it after a while. But do you want to say anything to the fans, the people, anything before we conclude, or anything you want them to know? No pressure. You don't have to say anything, but
I just think that people be ready for this year, because like the hype, and I saw people on Twitter calling it the Rule-Aid. The Rule-Aid.
Yeah, the Rule-Aid. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak too much, but like we got some dudes. Dudes, and the coaches, so that's all I'm going to say. Just be ready.
All righty.
Awesome, Tanner.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much again, man. Hopefully we'll have you back.